Hi, Coach. First of all, how do you like this? So many fans coming over to listen to the stories, to listen to you. How do you think that?
Yeah, it's very nice to see. I'm more curious about what Thomas said about me in Dutch because I didn't hear.
We will get back to that later. How are things? How are you doing? How's the team? How is 7, 8 months in Groningen working out?
It's been incredible. It's been a roller coaster. It's been up and down. I think we couldn't predict the injuries we had, and we had some tough times and we had some great times. With the cup final, bringing home the trophy. But yeah, it's been a real experience, a real life experience, I could say, being here and being a part of this.
And it works a lot, I guess, winning that basketball cup.
Yeah, that's what we play for. It's the first conversation with Martin when we sat down and had a coffee. Was we're playing for trophies. This is what we want to achieve. So being able to achieve that, was incredible. It was, first of all, it's my first trophy as a coach. So I'm very proud of our guys for stepping up and helping us get that for our club.
Yeah, we just saw the whole playoff system. How are you looking forward? What's going to happen? It's so many, but if we do it well, we can win that prize. We can win that prize.
I'm happy for our depth. I think that with our injuries coming back around too, Henry's getting ready to play. You saw when we won the cup final, it was the first game, I think, in the season where everybody was healthy. So I think in these 3 games a week series, it's going to be important that our depth and the longevity game is a part of.
Okay. When we talked about this evening with you, we thought, well, maybe it's good to show some systems, the way you play basketball, and specific the pick and roll situation, because we see that a lot, of course, in your team, but all the other teams do that in separate ways. Everybody has his own different system. But I asked you to get some video clips to show us how that works, and how do you look at those situations? Is there maybe a situation that we can do that right now?
Absolutely. Pick and roll is probably one of the most discussed situations in basketball for coaches and players. It's an endless discussion. How to get it right is, I think, very, very hard to achieve, and how you want to play. We play several different pick and roll coverages. Some coaches like to stick with one pick and roll coverage, because the team can really recognize. But I think with the evolution of basketball, we like to be unpredictable. So we play, based on percentages, based on what we want to give up. When you play pick and roll defense, you're always giving up something. So we always choose every game what we want to give up, where the percentages are, and what is going to help us put more pressure on the opponents. So first situation I have here is we call blue. It's
blue in offense or defense?
Sorry, I should say contain. We call it blue. It's contain. It's a drop. Well, let me play it a little bit here. So here you can see Thomas is in the drop, and this is contain. We don't want to rotate on the weak side, so we want to try and solve pick and roll between 2 players. And I think this is probably one of the most common pick and roll defenses you see. I think there's a famous coach named Tom Thibodeau who explains that the least valuable shot in basketball is the long contested 2-pointer, so just inside the 3-point line. So Thomas is backing off here to make sure he can contain the roller and play the point guard. So this is one choice. Again, a lot of coaches choose, and the reason it's the least, well, this coach thinks it's the least valuable shot in basketball is because you can't draw a foul, and it's the longest 2-pointer you can take because there's no 3-pointer. So here we're in blue, and we're trying to just basically make Lubre shoot a long contested 2. I think in this situation he ends up stepping back, but see, we contain the roller, and Jimmy does a good job getting over and contesting, making a hard shot. So this is containing defense. So our 5 drops and contain. So that's one. And next, you have the hard hedge. And here, here is when you want to put more pressure on the ball handler and make him retreat and make him make a longer pass. So here, and Thomas is one of the best on our team in doing this. So you see here, this is the hard hedge, and we push this player back. But the risk in this, and like I said, there's a risk in every pick and roll defense, is you have 2 on the ball, and then you have basically 3 players covering 4. So we call it rotation basketball.
Yeah, because this one is getting now open because this is a double team. Now he's getting open, so he's gonna need a different defender.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is the risk, and like there's a risk in every pick and roll, and the risk in this game is the one we wanted to take because we wanted to put more pressure on the ball handler who liked to come off and attack. But here we make him retreat. So Thomas does a great job. You see he gets pushed all the way back to half court. So even though they have 4 on 3, he has a hard pass to make so we can recover. So this is. Again, it's a choice this game that turned out pretty well. And see now, because he got pushed out, he had to make a hard pass, and we were able to recover. So this is the hard hedge.
Okay.
I'll just show a couple more. So I try not to explain too much. So for me, it's not rocket science, but sometimes I forget that you know, my whole life is basketball, so it's just simple concepts. But yeah, we choose pick and roll defense. Basically, my assistant coach Jan Stallman gives me their playbook, their strengths on offense, their shooting percentages, where they're getting their shots, and basically every game we go into that week working on a specific way to play pick and roll against a specific opponent. So here in this situation,
is a pick and roll situation with opponents the most important thing that you look at, how they play it?
One of the most important. One of the most important. It's the most ran in basketball. You know, you have post-up situations, isolation situations, but pick and roll is where teams try to create advantages and try and create shots, and for sure it's the most discussed among coaches on how to solve, and you know, even the top coaches say that it's an endless discussion because there's no perfect way to play, but only playing the percentages is
Show us some more, show us some more.
Yeah, here we have a situation where we push to the side, and we late switch because we don't want them to pick and pop. But the disadvantage here is, you know, we have an isolation, a guard playing against our 5. But this we want to live with because we want to take away a pop situation for them. So this is one other way. Another one here is switching with the guards on the top, which is something that we started doing really well after the break. So you see Leon Willem is concerned with the big, and Marcus steps in front, and Leon switches on the perimeter. And this is very hard to achieve, but here it leads into a steal for us. You know, these are things that we're looking. I do a review after every game, and we talk about what we did well, what we need to do better.
Do you have also an office situation in pick and roll from Donar?
Yeah, sure.
Probably maybe a situation with Austin Luke with a great pass to one of the centers. Here, for example, you know, Jan Stallman gave me a scouting report, and he told us that their team likes to bump from the bottom. So what we want to do is attack. So basically, this guy's on the bottom of a double side. We say, you see the double side, 1, 1, 2. So we know that they're going to help from the bottom of the double side. So in practice, we work on creating corner shots. So this one specifically, Jimmy recognizes and pulls where we knew the help was coming from based on scouting report, and pulls the corner shot for us. So you know what the defender is going to be, so you know that the shooter will be free in the corner.
Most of the time, and that's like I said, that's also, in my opinion, the evolution of pick and roll basketball or defense. You know, if coaches run the same thing over and over again, you know, we're working on countering that, and they're working on countering us. So you want to be a little bit unpredictable on where you bump from, how you're going to hedge, so that a coach can't just prepare all week, or a team can't prepare all week how to counter your pick and roll. So this is one situation. If I could show a couple more,
yeah.
I could do this all day.
No, we got a couple of minutes more.
Here, again, we knew Antwerp was bumping from the bottom, so we really wanted to create situations where they bump from the bottom, and Leon does a great job staying in line with the ball. And so for this game specifically, we wanted to put their smallest guy on the bottom, so their bottom bump was the small guy. So when he bumped against Latana, against Willem, against Thomas, it's very hard for him to guard. So Leon did a great job achieving this here. And it was a good situation where Leon gets in line with the ball, and we open up what we call the single side for Willem to get layup.
Yes.
One more is a Popovic special.
The Popovic special.
We call it a hammer. We call it a hammer. So basically, when you know a team is bumping from the bottom, here, so we pull the bump on the bottom. There's a player on the weak side. You see Brown on the weak side. He has to split too. So they call it, and the Spurs I think originated. They call it the hammer. So on the splitting two, whoever's on the weak side sets a screen on the single side. So we create a shot in the corner. And this is one situation where we read really well. And you see Dante Thomas creating the hammer screen because Tybee's in the bump here in the bottom. And then this next part, this is called keeping the defense on their heels. So now they're reacting, so we redrive and keep the defense on their heels, and Marcus does a good job on this. Create a shot for Dante Ingram. Last one, I promise. Here, Bayreuth playing the hedge. And I think playing against a team like Bayreuth, it really become a chess match. You know, they're really trying to break down our pick and roll defense. We're really trying to break down their pick and roll. We play against the hedge, and this is a situation where we look for the pocket. It's like I said, they hedge, so it's two players on the ball. So we want to really try and get the ball in the pocket, and whoever's on the double side cut. Because now we have a 4-on-3 situation and we want to take advantage of. So this is, play it back, make sure you guys don't miss anything. Here the hedge, pull out two, so now we have two, so we have a 4-on-3, so we always want to cut from the double side, and here we create a shot for Henry. So, you know, just give you an idea of a couple things of, you know, there's much more to it than just going out and working hard.
This is the way you talk with Jan all day long about specific game systems, how the opponent works, what they do.
Sure. I think the goal is one, getting our guys to play hard, but giving tactical advantages as often as possible. Because, like I said, in the evolution of basketball, top teams are all preparing weekly for specific situations and how to gain tactical advantages against us.
And how tough is that for you then when you come to a new club now at Donar to get those systems in the team that it's going to be automatically?
Definitely the toughest part. You know, we go over film daily, endless. I think Jan Stallmans is not here today because he's working on preparing the Mons game so we can prepare practice tomorrow the right way. But it's a tough part. I think it's not tough to see how you want to counter it, but it's tough to implement it to your team and give them the right repetitions and making them understand because you know you tell somebody something different every week, it's hard to achieve. So we have to put it in practice and make sure that everybody understands what we're trying to do.
And that's why all those practices.
Sorry?
All those practices to exercise things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
graag een applaus voor Matthew Otten voor deze uitleg. Maybe some questions. Waar is de microfoon eigenlijk? Was die nog? Oh, daar. Wie heeft nog een vraag voor coach? Daarna gaan we een drankje doen met een stukje kaas en zo. Daar. Nou, dit wordt een mooi worp. Succes. Hier helemaal.
You say you have a game.
Oh. Nee, oké, ja, mag eerst dan straks daar naartoe. Ja, doe maar.
Yeah. You say you have a game plan, both in offense as well as defense. Last week's game against Antwerp, I noticed a lot of mismatches in the defense. Antwerp was creating a lot of mismatches. In the second half, you were able to solve them, so it looked like. Do you change your game plan during halftime, or do you make minor adjustments to solve the problem?
I think most of the time, minor adjustments. It's rare where you have to change the entire game plan. But like I said, we prepared to play a certain way, and sometimes it doesn't always go that way. So you have to make minor adjustments on how you're going to play pick and roll, how you're going to stand, who's going to guard who. So yeah, it's most of the time I would say minor adjustments. Sometimes you have to change the whole plan at halftime. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Nou, de fast break paas helemaal naar die kant. Nou, bijna een assist, joh. Andere kant. Oh, nee, het is goed. Ja, nee, sorry. Yeah.
I think my question is in the same line. Is a timeout long enough to switch up the system?
No. Timeout is, I always say, well, I'm fairly, when I started coaching a few years ago, I used to try and cover too much, and then you start to see that you can only one or two things, and most important, I like to use timeouts for tactical advantages when we have an offensive timeout on the sideline, an offensive timeout on the baseline, where we can create a sure basket. So I don't want to overtalk. I want to make one point and then talk about one tactical advantages. So we make one minor adjustment, possibly, and talk about one tactical advantage on offense.
Okay, thank you.
Nog één vraag? Nee? Nou, dan heb ik de laatste.
I just want to say real quick, sorry, the situation about Shea. I want to say that Shea, in my opinion, is helped us win the cup, and I think that's part of his development. He was there every day. 10, 11, and 12 on your roster are just as important, or just as important as your top 5. They're the guys that are pushing your team, showing up, being professional, and that's also part of their development. That's something that I wanted to say.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nogmaals applaus voor Matthew Otten.